the early 2010s to the mid 2010s, really. Besides for the Warriors and Heat that were winning in that era, I mean, he's been pretty forgotten about the great teams that were assembled that really could have taken down these juggernauts. And we all knew, and I even knew, in the offseason of 2015-16 when the Spurs got LaMarcus Aldridge, I was like, damn, this Spurs team is pretty great. And, this was before KD was on the Warriors. I was like, this team is great. You know what I'm saying? They're just a couple years off of contending. They won one in 2014. Kawhi Leonard has improved massively since that time. And now they just got LaMarcus Aldridge. And Tim Duncan's still an amazing defender, and he's not really declining that quickly. Tony Parker's still pretty damn good. Manu Ginobili's still pretty damn good. They still have good role players like Patty Mills. I'm like, this team is really, by no means is it really completely stacked. But it's like, this can be a very dark horse, even though it'll probably be the 2 seed or the 1 seed in contending for the championship. And that's exactly what happened. The first year LaMarcus Aldridge was with the Spurs, the team went 67-15. And people really forget about that. In the whole regular season, the Warriors, they beat the Bulls record and being 73-9 and all that stuff. But the Spurs and the Warriors were really neck and neck pretty much up until the end. And people really forget that the Spurs, man, they look like they could fucking challenge the Warriors. That's how great that they were playing. And then you look at the next season in the playoffs, Kawhi Leonard goes down with an injury when they're up 20+. And I feel like this could have shifted a whole lot. And this does affect LaMarcus Aldridge's legacy, because if he made the finals that year with that team and getting past the Warriors, not only would it be a great thing for his legacy, but for Tim Duncan to get there again. And all those players, I was really surprised. I was like, bro, the fucking Spurs are contesting with these people. They really working. Oh, Tim Duncan was retired by the time, my bad. But it would have been a great thing for the league if they won that series. Why it would have been so great for the league is because ever since really 2007, 2008, there have been a couple gap years in between the arms race. But in the league, there's been a crazy arms race for talent. In 2008, obviously we knew the Celtics won with a super team in their first year. So people were like, well, we didn't really see a super team for a minute. Let's bring it back. These motherfuckers won on their first year. And if you want to look at the people who were in that arms race in 2011-12, I remember the Heat, and they were in the arms race for just getting talent. After the 2011 disappointment, Pat Riley and the whole thing knew it was LeBron choked, but it was really a lot more based on that we had no fucking depth. You know what I'm saying? Our whole scheme was bad. We should have ran the ball through LeBron more, all that stuff. But the whole thing that they were looking for was talent. And it created an arms race right there. And you saw the Lakers trying to get in it with their failed super team, even though they tried it, with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard and Pau Gasol and Kobe Bryant. But then you see in 2015, the same things with the Cavs. They were working a lot on the buyout market and free agency, just trying to see if they can get small little game changers that can really make a big effect, And they brought in free agents. They traded some picks just to get some good role players, and it was another fiending team for talent. In 2016-17, obviously we knew the Warriors got Kevin Durant after going 73-9, and we thought that team was Thanos. They would be unstoppable unless injury stops them. And for the most part, it was true. And then the next offseason, they got DeMarcus Cousins. It was really looking like an all-star team. All starting 5 were currently an all-star, except for DeMarcus Cousins, who was previously an all-star. And then in 2019-20, the Clippers, we saw them at the trade deadline in the buyout market. They got a good player in the buyout market in Reggie Jackson, a good scorer off the bench. They needed more scoring off the bench. They had so much of it. They got Marcus Morris from the Knicks for a smaller package than the Lakers would have to give them. So it looked like the Knicks were really favoring the Clips. I don't know, but at the end of the day, they were getting great role players and really stacking in their favor. And as we see right now in the league, the Brooklyn Nets are doing this exact same thing. Right now, they already have a super team and probably a big three that could probably go all the way. I don't know about winning a championship. I like the Lakers more right now. But, they formed a super team, and right now, they're in the arms race too. basically against themselves. Nobody's really competing with them in this arms race. And, you know, we saw them try to go for Shumpert, Andre Roberson for some more defense. They got Bruce Brown, which was an amazing move. And they just got Blake Griffin, and they might go for LaMarcus Aldridge even. But the thing is, back in the day, when I was watching this series, I really wanted the Spurs to win. Not even really because I hated the Warriors too much, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like the Warriors, and it wasn't even just based off personally I disliked the players. It was just they were so fucking dominant. I want to see somebody else. You know, once I saw KD, I was like, that was like one of the worst days of me being an NBA fan, because it's like, bro, it's a sure thing. They're going to the finals this year. And I'm 99% sure they're winning it unless the Cavs get like Paul George add-on or something like that. So if the Spurs won this series and, you know, Kawhi didn't get injured, who knows? We could have seen another Spurs championship or maybe even two. And people really underlooked that. They're like, nah, the fucking Spurs is ass. Well, no, I mean, they were a great team, and then the next year they sucked because Kawhi Leonard left, complaining, you know what I'm saying, you want to play me when I'm hurt. But if they beat that series, you know, it was based off switchability, closeouts, amazing defense in general, and scheming coaching was trumping talent, which is something we really didn't see until like the Mavericks. But we all knew the Mavericks is like, okay, you know what I'm saying, that's probably their last year of their window for winning the championship. You know, everybody on that roster was getting older. That roster was just not great. They were just a very underdog team. And that would have been great for the league. The Warriors to this day are the most talented team ever with Kevin Durant. And if they lost that series, the league would be in great hands. People would stop being in this arms race for talent and maybe not trying to form all these damn super teams. They know it's a lot more about getting a good coach and playing great defense, having a better scheme. Like over there in Brooklyn right now, they don't have a quarter of the defense that the Spurs had back in the day when Kawhi was there. So, you know, if they won this series, the league would have changed.